So, if you are a Doctor Who fan, you might have heard of Gallifrey One, which is a Doctor Who fan convention that is in its last few years, and I actually have never been, despite being a fan for lots of years now. And so, when an opportunity for me to get to go to the convention came up, I thought, yeah, let's do that. And since it's ending in a few years, and I'm probably not going to go again, why not go crazy? So I got the shirt, I got the bag, which, oh my word, this bag. You could not have come up with a better design for me than this. Like, having the TARDISes, the Doctor, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it just has the number 35 there. I did not notice that. I think that's 35. I'm pretty sure this is, Star Trek Edge of Tomorrow, I think. I'll put something up if I got the episode wrong. This is improvised. Everything else I do is scripted. And you'll see why throughout this video. But, like, putting it all underneath a massive Stargate. Like, I saw someone going around with this shirt on, and I thought, that's awesome. I need to get that. Only to realize, yay, I actually had already bought it. I just hadn't had a chance to go pick it up at the dealer's hall. And when I did, yes, it's perfect. Like, as you can tell, I'm a Stargate fan. I also have a Stargate video planned for later this year. Spoilers. But, yeah, the convention was absolutely fantastic this year. And I just wanted to talk about it as someone who's never been and seeing that as it's ending. Yeah, let's just talk about some of it. So, yeah. So I, in preparation for going there, put together a list of all the stuff they had going to keep track of, including when autograph sessions were happening, and I ended up only getting a single autograph. I wrote down so many autograph sessions, and I only got one. It's perfect. It's just the way you want to be. But, yeah, it just went really well. I didn't take any videos at the event because I've only been doing this for like half a year. It'd be insane for me to go and say, yes, let's go take videos like I'm an actual influencer. No. I did, besides they said you can't take videos at the main program stuff, but I did get some photos and I'll put those up as I have them. In case I missed some, I guess. I don't know. This video is improvised. But I started going to get to see Fraser Hines and Michael Troughton talking about working with Patrick Troughton and stuff on their new Big Finish series that they've been doing for a while, which has been interesting. I am really curious to see where the series is going to go with its stuff, because the last couple box sets have been interesting, but now that the current arc seems to be done, I'm really looking forward to what comes next. I skipped one here that I had said I wanted to go. I got to go see Freema Agyeman, which she was fantastic, and I went in, at this point, I went for 3 back-to-back sessions for that, because I wanted to make sure to get all the big speakers during day one, because if I couldn't get into the other ones, I'd rather have done it on day one, so that if on day 2 I had to, I would have the room. But Freema Agyeman was absolutely fantastic. She talked a lot about, like, yes, her time with Doctor Who, but also how that had influenced and set her career, and how stuff has gone on for her in her career. And like I said, these 3 back-to-back sessions I went to was people at 3 very different stages of their career. I would say Freema Agyeman is very much in the middle of her career, and then we had someone at the beginning and someone towards the end. Let's just be frank about Peter Davison. But it was interesting hearing her as like I said, in the middle of her career, talking about stuff, and yes, talking about Doctor Who, but also talking about different shows, and the way she talked about American productions was hilarious, because the number one first thing she said about what makes an American production different from a British one: food. Yeah, I get that. I really do get that. So, yeah, we like our food. We like having too much food here, let's just be honest. But the entire thing of just getting to see her, hear her talk about all this stuff, and yeah, it's just excellent. And she's still, yeah, everything. Looks and sounds very much the same from 20 years ago, which is insane to say out loud. Like, yeah, just absolutely loved getting to see her. After that was Peter Davison, which, that actually, I forgot to put this on, but here's my badge I got. This was excellent, and I got to get some of the ribbons. I don't know much about ribbon culture, is the best way I'm going to put it. I think everyone just made their own and brought them in, is my guess. I saw stuff about pin trading events, but during a couple of the sessions I mentioned it was my first year there, and people just gave these to me. One of these I just found on a counter somewhere, but it was great to just get stuff from people. But the reason I bring that up is I got this pin right here during the Peter Davison interview, because the person interviewing him basically asked the crowd, hey, how many people is it your first time at Gallifrey One, or your first time hearing Peter? And there was a lot. So he was very open about, yeah, let's just do some of the standard stories, which I think is a fantastic way to go about doing this, because, yes, it's a lot of the same stories that these people tell. Because, like I said, we had Freema Agyeman in the middle of her career, Peter Davison very much toward the end, where he's doing a lot of these Doctor Who stuff, and getting a few parts still from what I've seen. I went with my parents to go see the movie I keep joking about Warhorse with my brother because of that stupid SNL sketch. But it was Dream Horse? Yeah, it was the one where a bunch of random people bought into a racehorse, and Peter Davison was there as a smug person looking down on them, which was fantastic. Just him being a snobby, look down, you idiots, you type role. Just very fun seeing him in that. But yeah, hearing him talk about stuff with his role and things around the time that he did it, and how he almost sort of saw the role as something once he's asked, he obviously has to take it. It was just the delay till he accepted his fate, which he didn't phrase it exactly that way, but it was very interesting. I really enjoyed getting to see and hear him talk. It was, yeah, all of these people were great. But then after that, Millie Gibson was there, and her role as one of the latest companions was absolutely fantastic. I loved getting to see and hear her, and it was a very different interview compared to the other two, whereas, because like I said, each one of these really struck me with the different points in career thing, because Freema Agyeman, like I said, in the middle, Peter Davison towards the end, and telling the same old favorite stories, and then you get Millie Gibson, who's very much at the beginning of her career, and that was clear in the interview as she's talking about the different episodes, and you can also tell it's very much that because she's going through and talking about every single one of her episodes that she was on, and they spend an interesting amount of time talking about the episode Space Babies, where she's just absolutely flabbergasted that all of these mothers who are on set, watching their kids go up and act, and just being like, you're okay with this? You're okay with us just putting your baby in a little cabinet, closing the door, and then calling action? You're good with that? And they were. They were absolutely fine. Which, yeah, I totally get both sides of that. The mom's happy that the kid's acting, fulfilling her dream probably, and she's flabbergasted that the parents are okay with this. It totally makes excellent sense. Also, all of the interviewers they had for this were excellent. I don't know who any of them were, but just fantastic. I had only been to my local Comic-Con, the Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, where the way they do these types of big room things was they basically introduced the people, asked a couple questions, and then turned it over to a microphone in the crowd, and then people lined up and it's always like 2 or 3 times the length of people that they have the opportunity to ask questions. This past year, I got to go see David Tennant at that, which was excellent. That crowd was big, obviously, but absolutely fantastic. Oh, then later, after that, much later in the afternoon, I got to go see Joe Martin talk about becoming the fugitive doctor, which absolutely fantastic. It was wonderful to get to hear the stories, talking about how she got the role. And I loved the bit where she was talking about how if she knew she was auditioning for the Doctor, she probably would have done a much worse audition and not gotten the part, because she technically was auditioning for the part she spent most of the time in her first episode. And then later they're like, oh, by the way, this is for the Doctor. By the way, tell no one about this. And then hearing the story about her son, whom she could not tell ahead of time, who is a fan of Doctor Who had wanted her to get a chance to be in the show. Then she'll be cool, which I get that. I really do. That was excellent. And then they're watching the episode live together, and her son's going, what the hell? What's going on? What did you just do? And then singing, and then just absolutely losing his mind. It was beautiful. Just a great story, and just great time to get to hear talking about getting to be the Doctor and being all this. And she talked about how there was the crew, essentially, like the production crew, told her, so you're online a bit. Jodie got a lot of hate when she got the role. Maybe stay off the internet for a little bit. But then people shared with her stories about positive things that people were saying. And so she went online and had a very positive experience there, which I'm really glad. What I remember when I was watching the episode when it happened, and most of the stuff online, that any negativity I saw was, for lack of a better term, the continuity police, which, I'll be honest, I'm slightly frustrated with that because I care about continuity, but that's neither here nor there, not important for this, and I'm working to set it aside because I have enjoyed her as the Doctor. I've enjoyed her Big Finish range. I even had taken one of the sets I have, because I actually got that one on CD before it sold out, thankfully. I was able to get it, and I was going to have her sign it, but well, as you'll see later when I show off all the stuff I bought, I chose to buy merchandise and not autographs because that is who I am as a person. But seriously, it was fantastic to hear her. And it was fascinating to me. The crowd was down from Peter Davison, but I was glad to get to see her, and I'm glad the crowd was as big as it was for that. It was excellent. Of course, by then I was sitting towards the front a lot of the time, because why wouldn't you? So, yeah, excellent. Then towards the end of the day, I got to go see, they did something special. In the lead up to this, Paul McGann was supposed to go to this, and he was a Doctor. If I would have gotten 2 signatures if he was there, because he's my second favorite Doctor, Colin Baker's number 1, and I would have gotten his autograph if he was there. And there was enough stuff there about the TV movie that they were clearly very excited to have him there and planned to have him be involved in all this TV movie stuff that was happening. And he just wasn't able to make it, so they made do with Daphne Ashbrook and E.G. So, with Daphne Ashbrook and E.G. Cho, which, by the way, at this, I learned I've been pronouncing his name wrong for like 10 years. Because I am American and white, I just pronounced it the way it was spelled, according to American English. I was calling him Yi-Ji So, when it's actually E.G. Cho. Because, of course, I'm like this. But at least I've learned. But at the end of the first day, I went to go see, they did what they called a live commentary of the TV movie, and it was fascinating to get to watch that with the entire crowd there. So they had the crowd there, and people weren't on stage. They were down in the audience, I think, and just giving live commentary to it as it went. I think it was everyone that they had there, the director, producer, and writer, or producer and writer, at least. I forget who of the crew was there. I'll put it up here if I look it up again. But they did that, and everyone was just up giving... Everyone except Eric Roberts was there. So they're up talking about all the stuff with that, and it was really interesting and a very fun way to get to watch the TV movie, especially with the audience. And even though Eric Roberts wasn't there for this, we still got a few bits of commentary about him because someone, I think it was the producer, whose name is escaping me, and I'm just trying to improv my way through this. He was up talking about how apparently the woman at the beginning, that because the Master starts as an ambulance driver, at one point kills his wife, which is actually Eric Roberts' real life wife. And so he likes to, apparently at these things, brag about how many times he's killed his wife on screen, which, you know, that's a great relationship if you're able to joke about how many times you murder your wife on screen. That's amazing. But, and I don't think I had realized that was his actual wife during that. But the absolute biggest reaction from the entire crowd was, I knew this was a popular line. I don't think I realized just how popular it was, because everyone just applauded and enjoyed it all, was getting to hear the Master go, "I always dress for the occasion," which is just fantastic. It's such a great experience to watch that with everyone and hearing the live commentary with that. It was excellent. The next day, I basically started with the Big Finish panels they had, where they had a bunch of the actors up. I forget who was there. Hold on, I got my booklet here. I'm just gonna... Yep. I have lots of things off screen. So the next day... Yeah, I prepped notes and then I took the booklet they gave me, which, by the way, this is a beautiful booklet. Love this. Excellent stuff. Yeah, they had Miranda Rayson, Lisa Greenwood, and Conrad Westmus talking about experiences with acting and acting on audio, and it was great to get to see Miranda and Lisa, especially because I've really missed them on the Sixth Doctor audios. I hope they get to do more stuff again. Soon, hopefully. Especially because, and Lisa Greenwood did talk about this, of her experience with having COVID for a very long time, and just recovering, and then, funny story, her first role back doing mainstream acting was being a sick person in bed, which she joked was her only time doing method acting. Absolutely excellent. But also, at noon local time, they got to announce the new series. I believe it's called Sontarans vs. Routins, or Routins vs. Sontarans. Those are both series they have now, and it's going to be fun for me putting those on my playlists, in putting them into my folders with all my stuff, because I like to organize things. So thank you for naming it differently. But it was really fun to get to hear them all talking, and all the ones led by, because Jason Hay Gallery was there, which really fun to get to see him. It's not often you actually hear from the Big Finish CEO on the behind the scenes on the audio dramas, but he was really fun to get to hear from with everything. So, and all the ones he led, all the panels he led, were the only ones where they asked for questions from the audience, which I think that's interesting. I don't know what that says about anything, but that's a fact about it all. So, that's there. Then later that afternoon, got to go see a bunch of the actors, especially ones from the recent season, just talking about being in Doctor Who and their their stuff, which was, again, fun. And then they got the Fifth Doctor TARDIS team, which I did not realize that Mark Strickson never, ever goes to England, apparently. I thought that he only came up every so often, but apparently he just gets in a studio in New Zealand, and he just records like 3 or 4 takes of different quality, and then leaves large gaps where he's just reading from the script to the other people's lines and assuming how they're going to do it. And so Big Finish apparently just get these 3 or 4 versions of a line, then a gap, then 3 or 4 versions of the next line. It's so bizarre, but I love it. It's great. And it's a great way for him to still live there and be able to do stuff for Big Finish. Although it is... it's fun that it's really great that he made his way up to America for Gallifrey One. It was great to get to see him. And none of these people were any of the people I got a single autograph for. I'll show that when I go through the stuff I got. Then I got to see an actual panel talking about the Doctor Who TV movie, which I appreciated much more, in some ways more than the watching it, because everyone got to talk through it a little more clearly than they could during the live commentary, which you get a lot with that, but you get a different type of thing when it's a panel and people talking about it, which was really fun. And yeah, everyone was great there. Then the next day got to see Steph, apologies for mispronunciation, Steph Diwali and Charlie Charlie Kondo, I think, talking about acting and doing everything. And during that, Steph talked about something interesting with her part, which I found was really interesting and helps explain some of the odd quirks with the episode Joy to the World, where apparently the Doctor was going to travel the world in that episode, but budgetary restraints just kept crushing it down to where basically it was just the Doctor in that one hotel, which does explain why the episode feels you much more of a connection with her character than you do with Joy, who's, supposed to be the main point of the episode. Just a weird thing that happened with all of that, which I find interesting. It's just an interesting way everything came out with that. But the fact that she auditioned for a small part and then it grew, obviously she's going to be very happy to get the more parts. And then something that I wasn't sure about going to, but I really enjoyed, was talking about the Doctor Who on Blu-ray, where it's, again, Jason Hay-Gallery interviewing Pete Mateague, who has been putting together the Doctor Who The Collection box sets, which I have a video of me getting one of the more recent ones. I've actually gotten another one in since then, but I didn't make a video about it, because I've kind of drifted away from doing those. That was me just trying to figure it out and trying to make weekly videos work, and I cannot make videos at that pace, even though this video's going up in between other ones that I have planned already, because I'm a genius. But I really enjoyed that. It was fascinating to get to hear the story on how those got made, and how apparently all the seasons are planned, and they do hope to do the 60s more so than they have in the past, because they've only done, I think, season 2 so far, which I love that they are planning to do more. And apparently the hope is to do the modern series as well, which would be excellent. That would be just an absolutely fascinating thing to get to see, the modern series, because some of that is, like I said, 20 years old, so it is old enough to get that kind of retrospective that lots of the classic era has had, and where people just know the stories well and can talk about stuff, and you get a real hit of nostalgia from seeing all of it happen again. But the thing I really loved, it was just fascinating to hear the plan and the kind of work that goes into these things. But something we got to see, which was absolutely fantastic, was they showed the new effects version of I'm gonna forget the episode name now. The one I was able to talk so much earlier. Give me a minute. Warriors of the Deep, I think. It's killing me that I can't remember this monster name, but it was Merca. The Merca, goodness. But where they're talking about reanimating the Merca, which they then showed some footage showing the old and the new versions of it, including some stuff they actually went out and reshot, some extra insert shots to help make the action scenes more dynamic. And then they played us some clips of the original version and this new version of showing those insert shots. I can't say the word insert. Why? And then they showed stuff with the Merca and the redone Merca, which, oh my word, get ready. This is really good. I really enjoy that. I cannot wait to see the full thing come out, because I enjoy that. They obviously, I don't think, have uploaded this, and the video they showed put the words Gallifrey One in the bottom to prevent anyone from stealing it, and so that if someone did video it and upload it to YouTube, they would know it came from Gallifrey One, which, understandable. But the new Merca effects are really good. It does look like it was a digital put-in, but in a way that feels very 1980s, and while also feeling kind of modernish. I don't know how well to explain it, but it looks like it was altered after the fact, but it also looks really good. I really enjoyed it. I think if the Merca looked more like this, people would enjoy this story more, or at least not hate on the Merca. But yeah, it was really good. I can't wait for that box set to come out in America in hopefully this year, probably next year maybe. I don't know, but yeah, that should be really good. They didn't announce any new collection box sets, which I get. Because they haven't even put out the season 21 set that one comes from. But just getting to see all the stuff they do and hearing them talk about it and how the process has changed over the course of time, like mainly talking about those trailer videos that everyone loves, which are excellent, and just going how they've gone from basically an afterthought to something with a plan and a tiny budget, and it's just excellent. I told about this earlier, but they talked about filming those insert shots to help make the action scenes in Warriors of the Deep better, and they talked about just the absolute insanity of, yes, 30 years after the fact, we're gonna go film more for a story that's been finished for this entire time. It's just excellent. Then I went and saw more stuff talking about acting on audio, which, that was actually how I ended my day. We had to, just kind of, I had other things to do with, family in the area, but, got to go see a panel with everyone talking about stuff, and overall, it was just a fantastic conference. I don't know if I'll go again. I might. We'll see. But it was fantastic. The entire experience was just so much fun, and everyone there was just so nice and friendly. The entire thing was great, and yeah, the entire thing was just great, and I really enjoyed getting to go and just see the panels, see people talk about stuff, hear some fun stories. It was great, and I didn't get to see as many of the fellow fans people, mainly because I am a coward who doesn't know who doesn't approach people often. So, yeah. But, yeah. Let's get started on how I spent most of my money. So, what's going to be the best way to do this? Okay. So we'll start with something very simple. One of the things that was there was a Girl Scout troop there selling Girl Scout cookies, which was excellent. And one of the things that I was going to go up and buy like 2, maybe 3 boxes, and they said, "Hey, if you buy 4 boxes, you get a free snow globe." So anyway, I got 4 boxes, and I got this cute little snow globe. It's not one of those floaty ones. It's like where it has liquid in it, but I really like it. It's very nice. And yes, this is like just a sticker put on it with a TARDIS glued in, but I love it. This is great. And so, yeah, that worked out well. They had a good audience for that. I'll say that. One of the other booths I went to had these I Metal Earth, like folding metal tab assembly things, and I saw them, and I'm like, and I was gonna get I think these 2, and she said those are $10 each or 3 for $25, so I happily got 3, which was great. And these are gonna work out super well with the one I had already that I still have not assembled in, please don't ask me how long. But at some point I'm going to put these together. So, and I'll just have to find somewhere to put them. But I just love these as a concept. I also had here a DeLorean that I got, which isn't the time machine. It's just a random DeLorean here for no reason whatsoever. It's legally just a car, not a thing from a movie. We promise. But I had this already, and that goes with this, but because they've just kind of been living together. But because it isn't Doctor Who themed, I'm just going to set it down here. Ooh. Then they had some counters where they just had some random stuff that was, free for the taking, so I did. So I got this thing of Dan holding a wok, getting ready to knock people over, saying, "Valentine, you knock me out." Which, since this was the weekend before Valentine's Day, perfect. And then I saw these 2 things. I think they're stickers, but I'm just going to leave them as cards of Dug-a-Doo. Dug-a-Doo, Dug-a-Doo, Dug-a-Doo. I love these. They're excellent. And then I found this other ribbon. I didn't put this on because I don't know what this is, but it seems to be advertising for another Doctor Who convention in New York, I think? Yeah, Long Island Doctor Who. I know nothing about this. I will research it at some point. But that was a great way for me to learn about it. Then I found a DVD of Syl and the Devil Seeds of Arodor. I think that's how it is. I had seen this on Amazon, and I wanted to get it, and I just left it on my wish list for a while, and then one day it disappeared, and I was very sad, but then this guy had it, so I have it now, and the guy there guaranteed me this plays on US machines, even though this has the UK logo here for rating systems, so I haven't opened this even. So, you know what? I'll open it right now. Boy, I hope this is interesting and that this edits well. At the one corner, it's always one little bit that comes out first, and then you can get the other. Does everyone else open DVDs like this, where it comes out one little corner, then it comes out in circles, and then you just kind of rip it? But, ooh, it's even stamped on here. Like, that's not stamped, but like it has actual art. Ooh, this isn't a writable DVD. This is like a professionally made thing. Yeah, I had no idea if how legit a thing this was. The guy had a bunch of DVDs. This was the only one I recognized, and I at that point in buying things was trying to be limited, and so I got this. I forget what the other stuff he had was, but I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I just hope it works. But yeah, I like that. I was so happy to get to find them because when I saw that disappear from Amazon, I was so upset. But because I wished I had bought it already, but I have it finally. Then I found the booth held by DoctorWhoStore.com, based out of Chicago. This is their main info. And I had fun, because they also, not only did they have a bunch of books, including this Short Trips book, which I just got one that, I liked the cover. I love the Eighth Doctor. And this, great cover. I really enjoyed that. So, yeah, hopefully this is a good one. I have no idea, but I was happy to get to have one of these. But when I was there, like I said, they had some CDs now, and I'm very happy to get these. I spent so much money on these. No one do the math on this, because some of these still have stickers. Some of them never had stickers. But I went and I got the Spectre of Lanyon Moore, which, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, yes, need to have this one. This Sixth Doctor Evelyn and Brigadier story is excellent. Of the two ones where they had Nicholas Courtney in working for them and that they could get him with doctors, I much prefer this one to Minuet in Hell. This is just a really good story featuring them, and they work together so well, and I'm really glad to get that, and it's just a really good story too. So yeah, excellent. Okay, let's see. This table's nowhere going to be presentable by the end. Then I have 3 White Whales of CDs that I want to get. They were Storm Warning, Zagreus, and The Chimes of Midnight. Those are 3 audios that I want on physical CD that I genuinely did not think I would ever be able to own, because I thought that's way too much money and way too not available. So imagine my joy when I saw Storm Warning there for a reasonable price. Yes, a bit much, but oh my word, it's so good. And this has the bronze logo, which the 8th Doctor and Charlie Series 1 set just came out, and it came with a 2-hour documentary where they talked about stuff, including this logo, where apparently they thought, hey, this is a brand new cool thing, let's just do this. And later on, they're like, what were we thinking? That was an insane thing to get. So, yeah, so you've got that. And I also really enjoyed the story of the Stones of Venice, so I got that as well. This is just a kind of very fun, very different, weird story that I really enjoyed. And they had the other 2 from Series 1, but I just limited myself to those 2 because I enjoyed them the best. I know, apparently, Sword of Orion is super popular, and I do enjoy that one, but I just love the cover of this one more, so I decided to get that. And then while I was there, I also got Project Twilight, which I really like this one. This really excellent vampire story. This is a great kickoff to a fantastic set of stories that Big Finish did for a long time in the monthly range, which were really good. So, yeah, I said at the beginning that I had 3 White Whales that I've been looking for, and I found 2 of them. I actually genuinely found Zagreus, and I am so happy. I did not find Chimes of Midnight. I would love to be able to sit here and say, yes, I crossed off 3 out of 3 White Whales in one booth, but no. No one else even seemed to have these CDs, and I was just so happy to find this. And look at that great Doctor Who 40th logo. It's just excellent. And you get to see the full cast here. I think some of these actors were doubled up, mainly the ones who were with the 4th and 5th Doctor. But yeah, this one just, I like I said, I genuinely didn't think I would find this one. And there's so many cool details on this set. You obviously have the cover with the 4 doctors, and then on the back you have who is that? You've got Don Warrington's Rassilon, obviously. You have Charlie Pollard, Leela, the Brigadier, and Romana. Excellent. And then on the back of each of these, I think in here you have the 3rd Doctor, which is excellent, obviously. Upside down right now, but you know what? I'll flip it around. 3rd Doctor here, which is, again, excellent. The other 2 have stuff, but not other people, so I'm just not gonna... Yeah, I'll bother. You've got the TARDIS over here, and then over here you have the Dark Tower, I think is what it's called. I'm sorry if I can't remember everything. I have a lot here. It's just all there in a great package. And then something else I noticed when I was looking at this on a later date, along this edge here, there's writing, and it says, Zagreus sits inside your head. Zagreus lives among the dead. Zagreus sees you in your bed and eats you when you're sleeping. I love that. This was so worth it. This is such a great CD to have. It's going to be fun fitting this on my shelf later. Then I got Medicinal Purposes, mainly for David Tennant's absolutely fantastic pre-10th Doctor performance. This was excellent. Just a really good, interesting story and wonderful. I'll talk about this when I eventually get to this, although this being release number 60, gonna be a while. But I really enjoy this. David Tennant does a absolutely fantastic performance where, yes, he's playing someone called Daft Jamie, who obviously has some sort of mental illness, or that's as far as I'm going to go on speculating that right now. But he plays it with a level of dignity that works really well, where he's not just playing dumb to play dumb. He's actually giving a legitimate, heartfelt performance. It's excellent. It's nothing less than what I would expect from him. Then I got Faith Stealer, which is a really fun story from the Divergent era that I really enjoyed, and is one that when Big Finish put numbers 51 to 100 on sale on permanent discount and said, okay, the CDs are going out of print now, get whatever you want. This is one that I wished I had been able to get, but I didn't, so I have it now. Then, 1,000 Tidy Wings. I really enjoyed this one from the Klein trilogy. Of the 3, this is the one of mine with the favorite cover. Basically, when I get audio story, it's either a story that I just really love, or it's a cover I really like, and more often than not, a combination of both. So, I was very happy to get this. Yes, I spent $20 on this, and the corner is busted. I didn't notice that until I was back at the hotel, because I'm a genius. So I'll just be I'll be getting a new case and replacing all that. From what I can, it's still in plastic on top of that, which is just bizarre. But everything seems to be in order with this, so I'll just replace the case and transfer all the paper over, so that should be good. Then I have a CD that I did not buy there, but does have the only autograph I got, which is Order of the Daleks, which I got signed by Miranda Rayson, who was so nice, absolutely excellent to get to see her and chat with her briefly, and signed this well, and it's just a great cover, and I love having a signature on something. It's nice. On to Companion Chronicles. Another one that when they put stuff on permanent discount, I thought, yay, I'll get this one, and it was sold out. So, I finally have this one. This is just an absolutely fantastic story. I really enjoy this, and like I said, I wished I'd gotten it years ago, but I have it now. Mahogany Murderers. Same category as the last one, just really happy to have the premiere of Jago and Lightfoot, and they're excellent. And start to one of Big Finish's absolute best ranges. Fantastic stuff. Then I got 2 different Torchwood ones, which I don't have many Torchwoods. I mainly get them to have covers of each of the people, but I got Forgotten Lives, which was really nice. And this one, I just really enjoy the absolutely insane title. Obviously getting to see Naoko Mori, who I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name. And yeah, just fun CD. So I have these. Okay. Oh, one more CD I got, which I didn't get this at that booth, but I had another booth where I got just a couple, really, Target novelizations. But he also had this Series 8 CD, which is, again, still in plastic. Looks like the corner here is slightly bent, but he gave it to me for $10, I think, so I'm happy with that. So I've got, it's 3 CDs, apparently, all of soundtracks from Series 8, which I'm slowly collecting these. I had pre-ordered the Series 10 soundtrack, now that it is finally out, and then Amazon was being stupid, and so I had to cancel my pre-order because apparently the place they had it from didn't have it anymore, even though it was a pre-order. So I've ordered a new one now because no one at the convention had Series 10, amazingly. Yeah, that'll go there. Then, let me go. Then, as I said, that booth, this is also from another booth, but most of these are from one booth. I got just a few Target novelizations. I'll set these here like this. Yeah, just a small handful of them. I'm really close on finishing my collection now. Yeah, I'm collecting. I had a few, then someone donated a bunch to Half Price Books nearby, and now I'm on my way to collecting all of them. So, and this guy had very reasonable prices for these. So I got Edge of Destruction, The Reign of Terror. We're just going to breeze through these. Planet of Giants, The Celestial Toymaker. I've put these in story order so that I can integrate them with my collection. The Gunfighters, The Ice Warriors, Fury from the Deep, The Invasion, The Ambassadors of Death, The Paradise of Death, The Sunmakers, which I actually read on the trip. Very good novelization. Black Orchid, The King's Demons, Attack of the Cybermen, Dragonfire, Remembrance of the Daleks, The Happiness Patrol, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Then I got some from Modern Era, which I had most of them, but there were a few I was missing, like The Christmas Invasion, The Church on Ruby Road, Space Babies, everyone's favorite story, 73 Yards, one of my favorite stories. This is excellent. Then I also got The Empire of Death and The Robot Revolution. Absolutely fantastic stories, and I am looking forward to reading all of these at some point. Yeah, I actually bought most of these over the course of 2 days because the guy at the booth had his books in alphabetical order, not story order. So I bought what I could, went back to the hotel, and then used a website that alphabetizes things, listed every story, alphabetized them, and then went back and just absolutely had a great time. Now, I'm sure looking at the stack, you'll think you just bought every book that you didn't have. You'd be wrong, because another booth had both books, because it was split into 2 books for the Dalek Invasion of Time, something like that. I don't remember. But it was an absolute epic 12-parter that he had both books for $25 each. And I said, no. Then the Wheel in Space book, for some reason, was really expensive. Like, that first guy had books for like $3 to $7, I think. And that book was like $20. if anyone knows what's up with the Wheel in Space, please tell me. Then on Sunday, I got the last of the Cybermen action figures for a very excellent discount. This was excellent. Yeah, the guy just let me take this. He didn't say no, so yay. But I got a great deal on this. But there's my little Cyberman. And then I got 2 other action figures that were very difficult to transport home. Basically, we had to go to a store, buy 2 square tissue boxes, and use the tissues as padding. Because I genuinely don't know how else you're going to get a bronze Dalek and a Davros action figure back home safely without these appendages snapping off, or his head popping off, or whatever. But the Cyberman, he was fine in my backpack. But these 2 guys, they came through perfectly, and I'm so happy to finally have a bronze Dalek. I just was checking upstairs. I have a 60s Dalek, I have a black Dalek, I think it's Dalek Sec, and I have a Remembrance era Dalek. So, very happy to finally have the bronze one, which just looks excellent. Then I also got more free stuff from that random shelf there. Ooh. Like this button, which has the Dalek, the Cyber... I've said too many things now. Which has the TARDIS over a groovy background that says, "The positive atomic structure of the TARDIS loathes to reverse its form." I don't know what this is, but it was free, so I got it. Then they had these 3 bookmarks here, I think. They're little TARDISes. I love them. They seem to be 3D printed, I think. They're really clever. I like these. Then at another booth, I found this keychain for the Doctor Who 40th Anniversary Panopticon, which I really love this. I love the 40th Anniversary logo. I love how they integrated the 40 and the Who together. This is just excellent. So, very happy to have that. But now that I've shown all this merchandising stuff of collecting things that are sold at other places, you know, you have to wonder, did people make art? Yes. If I can't find... I was checking before I sat down to actually film, and I couldn't find some of these artists right off, but stuff like this, I had actually seen online before, and I really enjoyed this art, and when I saw it there, and this guy had it for a very reasonable price, I was so happy to get that. The frame is brand new. I had to buy that after I got back. Same for all of these, but I got that. And then this is from that same artist, which has all the doctors on it. It took me a little bit to realize how he arranged them here, but he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, War, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, Fugitive, 14, 15. Which is, I think, about as good an order as we're going to get for these, because putting the Fugitive Doctor before 1, where she technically belongs, just... this is the order they came out-ish. This is the way to do it. Except, for some reason, putting the War Doctor in between 8 and 9 still feels okay. I don't know what that says about us as a society. But then I found this Pixel whom I can find, so I will link his Etsy shop in the description. But I saw he had a 8th Doctor. This is Grace, and I'm forgetting his name. I've said so many names now. But I'll put it up in the video again. But I have them and the 8th Doctor's TARDIS in an 8-bit style, which is just beautiful. I love it. He had lots of stuff, but I got the 8th Doctor one because 8th Doctor. This is one of the most interesting and beautiful TARDISes I've seen, and I love it. And then I went to one booth where some of this I had seen online before, and was very happy to buy a print. And some of it I hadn't, but it looked really good, and they had a really good buy three, get for a better price thing. So this print of all the Doctors, which is a lot more scatterdashed than this one, but is still really nice. I'm putting that down because I'm blocking the microphone and I'm worried about sound. But I love this print. I saw this and I'm very happy with it. It just looks excellent. Then he had one that was just of the, I would describe it as the Big Finish Doctors, where you have 5, 6, 7, and 8. Rather, the original Big Finish Doctors, which Paul McGann just barely sneaks in on. And I really like this print. It's very nice. Very good looking. And then we have one from The Power of the Doctor, getting to see all of them in their outfits here. This is excellent. Yeah, just really love this art. I was so happy to get to find really good fan art that I liked and wanted to buy. This is, yeah, it's just excellent. Really good stuff. So, yeah, anyway, so that's my thoughts on the various stuff I went to in the conference, and bits of art and excess stuff I bought. I spent too much money, but I had a good time, and I just wanted to show this stuff off. So, thanks for watching. I get to go put this all away now. I've had this stuff just sitting in my living room for a bit, waiting to film this video, because once I integrate everything, I'm going to lose track of what's new. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but this was fun. So, yeah. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I just put the disc in. Let's see if it works. Ooh! Yay! Okay. Please. Yay! It worked! I had no idea it was episodes! Oh my, I just knew this was a thing that was made. That's it. That's 4 episodes. Excellent. Okay, this will be fun. I'm really glad this worked. Worth the bun. Worth it. Okay.